Hey, hi guys, and welcome to our fourth tutorial, the tutorial we have been waiting for, where we get into serious business and we attach code to our calculator, to our program we are building. As you notice now, when you click on the buttons, nothing is returned in our text box and no value is displayed on our text box, meaning this is a dummy calculator and we need to put code to it. Now this is what we do. If you want to insert code on a particular button, you double click on the button, and when you double click on the button, it will take you to the area where you are supposed to insert the code itself. So let's get right into it, and we are going to use more of the if function. And how the if function works, it is just basic logic, that if this scenario, then do this command, else do the following command. Like, let's say if the student is offering BBC, then department is business computing and informatics, else they belong to other department. Or if a person puts on a skirt, then that person is a girl or a lady, else is a gentleman or a man. So that is a logic which works. So we are going to be using more of the if function, and this if function we shall learn more about it as a topic under this course unit of programming principles for business. So let's dive into it. We say now, if our text box, this text box here, if our text box, sorry, let me spell it correctly, textbox1 dot text, meaning the text inside that text is lesser or greater than 0, then it will return, because if they find a number there inside the text box, then the number in the text box dot text should be equal to 1, because remember now we clicked on this button of 1, so we are working on the code of 1. So when a user clicks on that button, if they find a number in the text box that is not 0, they give it the number 1. Else, the else function, text box dot text, the number in the text box is equal to this figure here, is equal to 1. So that's how you do it, and you make sure whenever you open an if statement, it must end the if statement. So you have an if, it has the if statement. So when you try to run this and see how best our form has, or our calculator has worked. So now we see that yes, other buttons are not working, but when you press on 1, oh yeah, and this is it, 1 is displayed in our text box. Remember, we are working on a calculator and we need to make sure all these other buttons are functioning properly. So let me set the timer so the video is not so big. Just briefly, yes, we see now that our 1 is working. But however, how about if you want to write a number with triple ones? When we click on it, it is just putting 1, it is not adding triple 1. So meaning we have to go back to our code and we edit it to make sure that actually it can access more ones. So we go back to our if statement, and if the number in this box is 0, then meaning any number it will find there, if any number in that text box is not 0, then any number it will find there, it will add on the 1 if you have clicked on the button 1. So let's save this and run it, and we see the difference there is in our statement, because I've added the add sign now. We find that it is 0 in the box, so our statement here says when we click on it, it should return the number 1. If it finds a number there which is less than or greater than 0, in this case we have found 0, meaning when we click on it, it will return 1. So when you click on 1 again, we see now this is what a real calculator should function like. Like, we can press 1 the number of times we want, and we'll have the figure exactly we need. So for now, that is it. And let me show you how to add more buttons. So we just go back. Let me just see the time we have used so far, 4 minutes. Okay, so we go to another button, in this case button 2, and we write the very same code, and we say if text box dot 1. In this case, I'm going to just copy this code so that I don't waste so much time typing it into this. I'll copy it and then paste it in our second button. This is our second button, button 2. So in this case, I need to change this value so that when the user clicks on it, actually it becomes button 2. Yeah. So Bafana is calling me. Okay, now button 2. Yes. So let's run it again and see that our button is functioning. So you see button 1, button 2, you can press 1 again and 2, and these other buttons are dummies, are not working. So I'm going to pause the video for now and add more buttons so that I don't waste so much time, but I believe now you get the idea of how the if function works. So let me add the other buttons as I've paused the video, then I'll get back when we are going to add the 0, the dot sign, the decimal point, and the symbol sign. Maybe I'll create another tutorial for the symbol sign because we need to introduce variables. I need to create variables for the signs or the operations or the operators in mathematics. So yeah, let me pause the video for now, and okay, here we are. We have added our 9th button, and we see when we click on it, our 9th button is working. So what we are going to do, we are going to include our 0 button. So still we go on 0 and we click on it and we paste. By this case, we are going to change and we are going to remove this else button because it's already 0 in the box either way. So we're going to remove the else, and then we shall change this and it will become 0. So let's try running it and see if all the buttons are working normally like the way we have programmed them. So we see we have 0, 1, okay, now 1, 2, because 1 now we have found 0 there, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 8, 7. So we have a 0 here. We can add zeros and it works clearly. So Derek is calling me. So let's work on other buttons. We are going to work on the dot sign and then the clear button. Then for that case we shall continue. Oh, who is this calling me? Okay, so now let's work on the AC button. In this case, we want it to clear all the figures on the screen and it returns 0. So what we do, we just say actually for it, in this case, we don't need an if box, because I mean we are just clearing the moment someone clears it. So if text box dot text, if the number in that text should equal to 0, automatically the moment a user clicks on it, then that number should be equal to 0. So let's try it out and see if it's working properly. So we have our 100. If you want to clear it, perfect, it's good to go. Now let's work on the decimal. Wow, people are calling me. Let's work on the decimal point or the full stop. And in this case, remember, our calculator or any calculator, you can't have more than 1 decimal point in a number. It has to have 1 decimal, 1 point or separator or whatever they call it for the decimals. You can't have 0 or 1.2.3, 0.4. Yes, so it has to be 1 point something or any number point something. So in this case, what do we need to do? We need to pass the if not function. So we double click on it to insert our code and we say if not. In this case we need to open a parenthesis, which are the brackets. So if not, and we say if not our text box, if not the number in the text box. So if our text box dot text dot contains, it has to be when it's not containing any number, dot contains, then we open the brackets and we put the parentheses, or we open the brackets and we put this figure of ours. So here we are telling, let me first finish coding it, then I tell you what it means. Then let me make it capital T. Then text box dot text is equal to, we open brackets and we put it here. Now what this basically means, and we need to end our if because we have opened if, so we need to end if, right? Yep. So now if it finds that there is no full stop or the dot in the text box, then it gives dot. But if it finds the full stop there, then it will not give the dot. Let me show you how this works. Let's try running the program, provided we don't get any errors. Oops, we have errors here. Let me see what the error is about. 2 errors. Oh yeah, I see now the error, where it's coming from. Then and if text box that one contains, oh yeah, put a full stop here. So you need to be very sensitive with how you write your code, because the moment you put another full stop, you're causing errors for yourself. So our program is now running properly. Now you see, when we press 2, it can't add another 0. Let me clear this and say 50 point. And you see now, we didn't add the add sign. Why is it that when you press point, our number goes away? So we need to make it in a way that the number doesn't go away. So in this case, we need to come back to our code of the if not code, and we add the add sign here. So that when in any case, if it finds that number, let it just add a full stop to the number it has found in our textbook. I don't know if I'm trying to explain it in a layman's language so to understand it better. So if you have 20 points and then any number, now you see that we can't add any other number because we have used the if not option, which is the true calculation, because you can't calculate a number which has more than 1 point or whatever they call it in the mathematical language. So yes, and in that case, I believe since the video is becoming a little bit long, I'll make another tutorial for the operators or the mathematical signs, because we need to create now variables for our calculator, right? So let me stop here for now, but as you see, our form or our code is growing, and this we started with number 1 and we put its code all the way to number 90, the clearing sign or the SC or the clear, till the dot sign or the full stop. So let's run our program one more time and test our buttons. We have 8, 7, 9, 6, 5, 4, 1, 2, 3, and they're all working properly, plus a 0. Then we can clear, and also the full stop is working normally, which is good for now. Good progress. So the next tutorial we shall be dealing with working with the operations, creating the variables for them, and creating the variable for the first number to store this number, and then to store also the second number as a variable. So thanks for watching, and wait for the next tutorial. This is going to be interesting. I know it's a little bit confusing for the start, but you keep practicing, you get used to them, and actually you start understanding, and you easily be able to identify the bug. This is your boy Ssendi Samuel, the code star or the code genius or the genius, like you've always been calling me. So I hope these tutorials have been of great help for you to get acquainted with the program, with the software itself, for you to develop your skills as a business computing person, and for you to put in place of working better with the interface of the software. So thank you so much. Stay tuned in and wait for the next program. Yep.